And welcome back to Conquest Racing Studios. And we are about to enter our first race of the Ouroboros track. And Raul, what can you tell me about this track?
Well, coming from Viper, which was a very technical track with about 5 hairpin turns at the top, Ouroboros is a very, I would say, simple track to run.
Pretty speed heavy, right?
Looks deceptively simple. It has 4 major turns, one high bank turn. We have a squeeze.
Yeah, no, we have 2 squeezes, I think, in the middle.
No, we have the squeeze turn right in the middle of the track, and then you got 2 1 in 60 turns as well to contend with. So the track is less technical, but I would say a lot faster.
Well, it's still a little bit trickier, it seems, because you do have an elevation point in there, right? That might stir things up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm saying it's deceptively going to. It looks deceptively simple, but I still think there's a little bit of technicality to the track for sure. But coming into this, I mean, we're looking at some pretty heavy race teams coming in, right, Simon?
Yeah, so far we have Total Carnage Racing leading our Carrera Cup with 28 points. And then we have K-Cut Exotics with 23 points. Then we have Quijiban Racing with 20. And then Doom Wheel Racing Team at 19.
Right, and yeah, we got a pretty good selection of cars going into this. We know that Carnage seems to run a lot of American muscle. So we're seeing his Corvette normally hitting the track. In the last run, though, at Viper, I believe he brought out the Porsche team as well. So it'd be interesting to see which car he brings out for this run.
Well, again, knowing with American muscle, mostly straightaways would seem to be more beneficial to them.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'd love to see some American muscle representation, given that most of the track is European-based. Right. I mean, K-Cut is driving his Ferrari. He's been
nothing but.
Since...
A little bit of originality. I'm just trying to throw it out there. It would be a little bit nice, but... Yeah,
I think it's good to be true to the cars you love, and I believe that he loves his Ferrari, so it's pretty cool to see all the Ferraris on the track.
And we have Quijiban Racing running all BMWs, I believe.
Yeah, he's been repping the BMWs throughout. He started off with classic M1s at our pre-testing, but then he moved on to I think in Viper he did run a couple of his M1s, but then he progressed to now the DTM cars. So I know that he's running DTMs right now.
All right. And then we have Doom Wheel Racing, which are a hodgepodge of who knows what.
Doom Wheel Racing, like the baller of the club. I mean, he's got nothing but McLarens, and he's got a AMG SLS, and he's got, he runs like all these high-end...
well, someone's got to represent. That's all I got to say.
British cars, I see. Rumor has it that he's on his way to driving for Lamborghini, but we'll see what that pans out. But right now we have a pretty good selection of cars hitting the track. We're about to get race side, and we're about to go live with racing.
Well, let's jump right into these highlights.
All right. Day 1, Heat 1, and in pole position was Carnage with his Corvette. This was a pretty uneventful race, except at the last. Wouldn't you say, Simon?
Yeah, it appears that Team QBA suffers catastrophic failure and suffered a DNF.
Right, and the winner on this one is K-Cut with his Ferrari once again, and QBA did nab the fastest lap in this heat.
Yes,
with a 5.584 second lap. So that was pretty impressive, although unfortunate for them that they did not finish the race. But we quickly went into heat number 2.
And QBA appears to switch up the car to his matte black BMW M3.
Yeah, pretty sick looking car. I really like this car. Hopefully he has better results than the last heat. We had pole position with K-Cut. It seems like Doomwheel came from out of nowhere and won this race, though.
Yep.
That McLaren really put out a good show. And Carnage, once again, was really fast. He's shown that he's got speed from the last track that we were at with Viper, and he put the fastest lap time in this heat with a 5.818. Not the really fastest, but pretty decent lap time.
But the main story here is that QBA once again did not finish the race as he could not keep all four wheels on the track and ends up being one with the scenery.
Really? And yeah, so that's the second car that he's lost in the same race. So he's down to his third and final car. Hopefully he can get, he can
stay on the track. How about get some more points?
Yeah, let's hope for it. All right, we're going straight into heat number 3, and QBA is in pole. Hopefully this is a good sign for him.
Yep.
He might not get into trouble. And it ended up winning that race. And not only that, he won it in good fashion. And once again, Carnage did put in a blistering lap time of 5.692. Again, the Corvette proving that it has the speed to go around this track.
Seems to be a common trend right now.
Yeah, pretty good. But other than that, the Heat 3 was pretty uneventful. We didn't really have anything that happened that was of note, but good racing.
Yeah,
It was
good,
really
clean racing.
Yeah. And then we headed into the final heat for the day 1, and that was heat number 4. We got Doomwheel on pole. Once again, that McLaren is at Fine Fettel when it's at pole position.
Yeah, again, you can see the amount of damage he takes on this car. He seems to drive it pretty hard.
Well, yeah, he seems to have no mercy on his cars, and they are exotics.
It appears he drives it like he stole it.
Maybe he did. Who knows? But anyway, so Doomwheel wins this one pretty handedly. But the fastest lap was QBA coming back with the fastest lap, the 5.6 seconds.
That's what happens when you keep all four wheels on the track.
Right, and Carnage had a fit and walked off the track. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it appears he didn't suffered a DNF and just kind of gave up halfway.
Pretty much gave off, walked off, spat some nasty comments to pit crew.
We cannot repeat on air right now.
Yeah, well, kids are watching. Hopefully, he showed really unsportsmanlike conduct. But anyway, regardless of that, after day 1, after 4 heats at Ouroboros, we have K-Cut. Coming up at the top at 36 points.
Check your engines.
What was that?
Nothing. Again, I got to remain impartial when it comes to this sort of thing, but check your engines.
Okay. You have something against the Ferraris, don't you?
No, again, time will tell.
Well, we
foreshadowing.
So K-Cut was in pole, taking the lead in the championship with 36 points. Doomwheel had 35, Carnage was at 33, and QBA is at 28.
Yeah, those 2 DNFs really kind of hit him hard right there.
Yeah, so that's the end of our day 1, and we'll be back with day 2. All right, welcome back, and we're going to day 2, heat 1 on this Ouroboros track. We only have 8 points now that separate the championship from first to last, so it should be a very interesting day of racing.
Yep.
In heat 1, we got in pole position. We got Doomwheel in that beautiful...
sexy blue McLaren.
Yes, sexy. I wouldn't put it that way after looking at how much damage taken. But anyway, regardless...
Running is racing.
Is it? This was a pretty uneventful race until the Ferrari decided to go off the track and put his car into the wall. And,
who knows why? Why do they do that? What? I don't know what the reasoning behind that is.
Well, I don't know. I think they put a very inexperienced driver in pole position in the first place. So I think this was a tactical move by Ferrari to bring in the
next driver, right? Yeah.
That black Ferrari has proved to be really, really fast, and some people have questioned its authenticity on the track. So,
well, again, they must be doing something right. They are in the lead right now.
That's true. But the winner in this race was Carnage, again, coming across with that Corvette. And QBA posted a really fast 5.581 second time on this track. So that was a pretty good heat 1 with Carnage coming on top. And we'll go straight into heat 2. This is a very uneventful heat.
No.
It was very clean racing.
In pole position, we had K-Cut, and other than that, nothing really else much happened.
Yeah, K-Cat was in pole, and the winner, though, was QBA coming out on top here. The fastest lap was once again Carnage.
Wow.
He's proved that he can keep consistently going really flat out, and he has a 5.379 second.
And that American Muscle is actually walking the walk, talking the talk.
Yeah, it's really good to see the American Muscle representing, and especially since the last race, the way he walked off the track, we were not sure whether he would come back with that car.
I guess they cleared up everything in the pit lanes, right?
You know, it seems like the team worked on the car, brought it back in fine fettle, so it's looking good for them. And that was the end of heat number 2. And going into heat number 3, we hoped that it was going to be a pretty uneventful race. It was going really well until...
Well, so far going into the race, we have QBA in pole position. And it appears that QBA must have done something right because they not only finished first, but they posted the fastest lap time at 5.464 seconds.
Right, but the story here is about Doom Wheel Racing, and there was an incident on the track where Doom Wheel just took out the Ferrari, and this is car number 2 for Ferrari. So this is an interesting situation because not only did they put Ferrari into a bad position where they had to bring in, well, K-Cut had to bring in the third car. But it almost felt like it was a vendetta move by Doom Wheel.
I wonder why. Again, we can't see anything that would cause this sort of thing to happen.
Well, I mean, there's always been that little bit of bad blood between K-Cut and Carnage for a long period of time. But out of nowhere, Doom Wheel seems to have come into this equation. So it's very heated. It's going into the end of the day, and we're going into heat 4, so this is going to be a story that really maybe plays out.
Again, so many races, tempers seem to run high, and again, with this, who knows what can happen on the track.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. So we're going to head into heat 4, a last race at Ouroboros, last heats, last set of 30 laps.
Again, you got to get those points on, right?
Yeah, so let's see what happens. We had Carnage on pole, and the winner, surprise, surprise, Carnage hit it again, came across the winner. But there's a little bit of things that happened on this heat before we get into the fastest lap. So Carnage had a little incident.
No, first of all, the first thing that happened was Doom Wheel Racing in their nice blue McLaren decides to take out K-Cut in their last Ferrari.
Really? Yes, I was going into Carnage, but yes, that did happen first. All right, so Berninator, Doom Wheel looks like he does have a vendetta against K-Cut.
I would say a vendetta, but again, who knows what goes on behind closed doors.
I would officially say this is vendetta. I mean, there was a clear grin on Doom Wheel's face as he came off the track at the end of that heat 4, and I suspect that there was some underlying tension that has made itself to the surface.
I guess he likes putting Ferrari emblems on his mantelpiece. How about that?
I guess so. He's got 2 right
Two
now.
of right now.
Right, but anyway, that was a big deal because that knocked Ferrari out of this. So they actually DNF'd in this heat. But then the Carnage came back and had a little incident again with Doom Wheel. Doom Wheel seemed to be involved a lot in this heat. But
yes.
Carnage did take out Doom Wheel's McLaren.
Yeah, and then they were forced to put on their AMG SLS.
So yeah, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Let's hope it doesn't bite them back in
AMG SLS went out there and blew that lap time. You know, took the track record here with amazing lap time of 4.968 seconds. He broke
sub 5 seconds.
Sub 5. Now that is impressive.
Yeah.
Not to say that Carnage did come back and did ask the stewards to go through the footage to see if there's anything that
I call that slow but spiteful on their end because again, it appears he did absolutely nothing wrong, but just ran a great time.
Well, like I said, there was a lot of things that happened in this last heat.
I guess the team was angry after taking out the McLaren. They had to at least make a statement.
But like we said, this was not even the pinnacle of this heat because we have QBA wanting to have some of the action here.
But somebody must have said something to him. Maybe like one of those tower operators. Because they're not trying to take him out once, but twice.
I know. I mean, like, did he lose all 3 of his cars?
Yes, he did.
That means that QBA went through not 1, not 2, but all 3 of his cars. Yeah. And 2 times he tried to take out that control tower.
Either must have owed money or something said something dirty to him. Who knows?
I don't know, but I wouldn't want to be in that control tower.
No, I would not. Oh, again, we do have a good insurance policy, so yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. But yeah, that kind of brought the end to the Ouroboros track.
Yes.
It was a very, very compelling ending to a very, very fast track, and it brought a lot of like DNFs. This was the first track that brought a lot of DNFs.
Yeah. So far, this I think what was it, like 5 of them.
Yeah, that's pretty like that's
Actually,
never
no,
been heard
6
of.
DNFs because both two teams got taken out by the end of day 2.
Right. Yeah, so a lot of DNFs, and it was very, very eventful. But let's wrap it up with the pole position.
Yeah, so
let's wrap it up with the championship, with the standings of the championship right now.
So after 3 races of the Carrera Cup, we have
2 races.
2 races. 2 races of the Carrera Cup. We have Carnage with 49 points, leading the pack. Then we have Doom Wheel Racing with 45. And K-Cut Exotics and QBA are tied at 40 points.
Yeah, so we came into this morning having an 8-point separation. We leave Ouroboros at a 9-point separation between first to last, but we have great movement here because K-Cut came into Ouroboros in the lead of the championship. He's now at the bottom. With QBA, and Carnage has leapfrogged up to the top. So we're going into Scorpios, which is the next track, and we'll be back.
Again, you like the long distance, and we'll give you some sneak peeks of it.
So this is probably the longest track that we have in the series. It should make for exciting racing. It's very technical too, so let's see how many DNFs we get from here and how many
let's see any vendettas get settled in our next race.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And that's all we got for you this week. And we'll be back with Scorpios.
Until that, see you then.
Take care, guys.